For more than 7 decades, a single element on the periodic table has quietly driven every breakthrough of the human race: silicon. Every smartphone in your pocket, every medical scanner in a hospital, every satellite orbiting the Earth, and every data center training artificial intelligence relies entirely on microscopic gates etched into purified sand. Silicon was so reliable, so abundant, and so easily controlled that humanity built its entire technological civilization on top of it without ever needing a backup plan. But right now, at the bleeding edge of computing, silicon is running out of room. Artificial intelligence has grown so demanding that the processors running it are smashing directly into the laws of atomic physics. A quiet, almost awed pause. Transistors have become so unimaginably small that electrons are beginning to leak through the walls meant to contain them. The silicon highway is officially jammed. Yet, inside clean rooms and advanced research facilities around the globe, an ambitious transformation is taking place. Engineers are laying the groundwork for a future where computers no longer rely on silicon at all. What if the next era of computing isn't built on silicon wafers, but on carbon nanostructures and single-atom-thick glass? This isn't just an incremental upgrade. It is one of the most fundamental shifts in the history of human technology.
To understand why silicon dominates our world, you first have to understand why it was the perfect material for the dawn of computing. Silicon is a semiconductor, a material that sits right on the border between a conductor, which lets electricity flow freely, and an insulator, which blocks it completely. By applying a tiny electrical voltage, engineers can flip silicon between conducting and insulating states instantly. That simple switch creates a binary 0 or 1. In the 1950s, early transistors were the size of a postage stamp. Over the decades, engineers achieved the impossible by shrinking those switches down to just a few nanometers wide, tens of thousands of times smaller than a single strand of human hair. For decades, the formula for progress was simple: shrink the silicon transistors, fit more of them onto a single chip, and watch computers get twice as fast every 2 years. Silicon was cheap, stable, and remarkably forgiving. It formed the foundation for the personal computer revolution, the internet, and the mobile phone age. But as we pushed silicon to its absolute physical boundary, the rules of physics began to change.
The arrival of modern artificial intelligence broke the traditional rulebook of chip design. Training a massive AI model doesn't require a few calculations performed one after another. It requires billions of matrix operations executed simultaneously across thousands of interconnected chips. To keep up with this workload, manufacturers tried to shrink silicon gates down to 2 nanometers and below. But at that microscopic scale, silicon reaches a hard physical limit. A single atom of silicon is roughly 0.2 nanometers wide. When a transistor gate becomes only a few atoms thick, quantum mechanics takes over. Electrons stop behaving like solid particles moving down a pipe and begin behaving like waves, slipping right through closed silicon barriers in a phenomenon known as quantum tunneling. When electrons leak, the chip wastes massive amounts of energy and generates extreme heat without doing any actual computing work. Placing thousands of high-power silicon chips side by side inside an AI data center creates an immense thermal wall. You can continue adding cooling systems and pumping megawatts of power into the building, but you cannot change the atomic structure of silicon itself. The material that built our digital world has reached its absolute limit.
Instead of trying to force silicon past its physical limits, scientists began looking for materials that could transport electrons at the atomic scale without leaking energy. The most promising answer came from an entirely different part of the periodic table: carbon, and two-dimensional atomic monolayer materials. Carbon nanotubes, hollow cylinders of carbon atoms structured like microscopic chicken wire, can carry electrical currents at speeds significantly faster than silicon, while operating at a fraction of the voltage. Because of their unique atomic geometry, carbon nanotubes hold on to electrons with extreme precision, completely preventing quantum leakage even when scaled down to a single nanometer. Alongside carbon, researchers discovered two-dimensional semiconductors like molybdenum disulfide. These materials consist of sheets just 3 atoms thick that can be layered on top of each other. Unlike silicon, which degrades rapidly when made ultra-thin, two-dimensional atomic materials maintain exceptional electrical conductivity and structural stability. This unlocks 3 massive advantages: near-zero power leakage, vastly reduced heat generation, and the ability to stack processors in true 3-dimensional layers, rather than spreading them flat across a single board.
Transitioning away from silicon is not simply a matter of replacing one raw material in a factory. It requires redesigning the entire global semiconductor manufacturing chain from scratch. Over the last decade, leading research hubs and industrial consortia have begun quietly building every layer of this post-silicon ecosystem. Advanced research teams have demonstrated the world's first fully functional 16-bit carbon nanotube microprocessors, proving that non-silicon architectures can execute complex code. Specialized chemical synthesis plants have developed techniques to deposit two-dimensional atomic sheets across full-scale 300mm industrial wafers with microscopic uniform precision. Simultaneously, packaging firms are creating specialized glass substrates capable of hosting both optical light connections and carbon-based logic chips on a single package. Rather than relying on a single breakthrough, the industry is executing a multi-front strategy, developing carbon nanotube logic gates, 2D material memory stacks, advanced glass packaging, and new design software optimized for atomic scale physics. Every piece of the puzzle is being developed in parallel.
The shift from silicon to carbon and two-dimensional materials is far more than an academic experiment. It represents a fundamental restructuring of global computing infrastructure. Consider the energy footprint alone. AI data centers currently consume vast percentages of the world's electricity grid, with a huge portion of that power wasted purely as heat generated by inefficient silicon connections. Quiet, almost awed by the scale. If next-generation carbon and 2D architectures can deliver 10 times the performance per watt, the global economic and environmental implications are staggering. Training complex artificial intelligence models could take days instead of months. Autonomous systems, medical diagnostic platforms, and scientific supercomputers could process complex real-time data using a fraction of the energy required today. History shows us that technological transitions happen slowly at first. Pause, then a knowing tone. Then, all at once. Vacuum tubes yielded to silicon transistors, and mechanical hard drives gave way to solid-state flash memory. Today, as silicon hits its ultimate atomic wall, the computing world is preparing for its next great leap forward. The future of computing will not be won simply by whoever builds the smallest silicon gate, but by whoever masters the system-level transition to atomic-scale materials. Do you think carbon and 2D materials will fully replace silicon in consumer devices within the next decade? Or will silicon remain the primary backbone of computing for years to come? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.